Hi, and welcome to Lesson 5. Today, we're going to learn about Unit 3, plants. We're going to talk about plants' habitat, what do plants need to grow, and parts of a plant. Yeah, the name of the unit is not very original. It's not wonderful plants or amazing plants. But trust me, the unit is super fun. But as always, before starting with this lesson, we have to check our materials. The first thing you need for this lesson is to watch this video. You also need your My Pals Are Here students book, alright? Also, there are some links to some YouTube videos. Remember that you can add subtitles so you can understand in a better way. But don't worry, as always, I will explain. And of course, we have the worksheet that you have to do in order to check if you learn how much you learn about this unit or actually this lesson. Also, this day I'm going to explain you and show you the beginning of a scientific project. Yes, you're going to do a science project for 2 weeks. You're going to be a little scientist. But before starting with the lesson, let's talk a little bit about Unit 1 and Unit 2. Unit 1 was about human body. Unit 2 was about amazing animals. And this unit, as you can read, it's about plants. Can you find the connection there? Think about it. Take your time. You got it? Yes, human beings, animals, and plants, we are all living things. So we need things to live. Otherwise, we can die. So I need you to open your student's book on page 32 and 33. All right? You should be here. So let's start with the unit. As you can see, we have Unit 3, plants. On page 32, we have the let's find out. Remember, these are questions that we have to think about it during the whole unit. It's not something that we have to answer right now. So I'm going to read these questions. The first one is, where can we find plants? The second one, how are plants different? The third one, what plants are useful? And the last one, what plants are harmful? Remember, you have to take your time for this. We're going to be able to answer this at the end of the unit. But maybe because you are super smart, you can answer some of these questions right now. So think about this and try to answer. You can pause the video now to take your time. Okay? Fantastic. Now, let's read the girls' questions. Can you name any of the plants in your garden? Well, now I live in a flat. I don't have many plants, but I do have cactus. I have many cacti. Those are one of my favorite plants. I have a few of them. How are they different? Well, they have different shape, they have different size, they have different color. As you can see in the picture, we have a garden. We have flowers, we have bushes, we have a tree. What else can you see? Take your time. You can discuss about this. All right? Fantastic. We are going to turn to page 34 and 35. Beautiful picture. Now, let's read the questions. Where do you see plants? Take a look. Observe. Where can you see plants? And the next question is, why are they called land plants? Land plants. Well, the first question, we can say that we see plants on a wall. We can see plants on the ground. The grass is a type of plant. We can see many flowers and also many trees on the back. And the next question is, why are they called land plants? Well, they are on land. So that's why they are land plants. Let's see what Dr. Atom is saying. Vines can grow on buildings. Can they grow on water? Hmm, what do you think? Can vines grow on water? Hmm, good question, right? Well, now you have some information. You have land plants on the ground and a plant that grows on a wall. That's interesting. Now, let's read the name of the plants that you can see. Let's start with page 34. On the bottom, we have the crocus. Crocus, that beautiful purple flower. It seems super nice. Then we have vines. Vines. Yes, this red and green plant that is on the wall. On page 35, we have the sunflower. I know that you know this plant. It's super famous. The sunflower is one of my favorite flowers. It's beautiful. You have the rose. Everyone knows what is a rose. Can you name some colors of rose? We have white roses, red roses, pink roses, and you can change the color of what roses, but I won't explain that today. And the last plant that we have is the bird's nest fern. Huh, that that's very interesting. We have land plants, a plant that grow on a wall of a building, and a plant that grows on a plant. Yep, that's correct. Plants can grow on plants. That's super interesting. Let's check the word bank. Here we have ground, building, tree. Okay, so far it's very interesting all this. Let's go to the next pages. All right, here we have more questions. Let's start with the beginning. What plants do you see? Where do they grow? Can these plants grow on land? Hmm, these are very interesting questions. So, what plants do you see? Well, on page 36, we have on the bottom the hydrilla. Hydrilla. We have the water hyacinth. Water hyacinth. My favorite, the water lily. It's beautiful. Water lily. On page 37, we have the cattail. Cattail. This is a very special plant, but we can talk about that later. And the duckweed. The duckweed. Let's see what our friends are saying. So, do all water plants, do all water plants float? And she's saying, no, some are underwater. That's very interesting. So, you can see here water plants. Correct. This is a different habitat. And as Sue is saying, the hydrilla, it's a plant that grows underwater. Where have you seen underwater plants? Maybe in the ocean when you go to the beach. Uh-huh. Maybe on a pond, or maybe when you go fishing. Hmm. We have many places. We are surrounded by plants, and that's amazing. Now let's check the word bank. Here we have water plants, underwater, and float. Okay, this is important. Some plants have part of the plant underwater and part of the plant on the surface, on top of the water. That means they are floating. Okay, let's read on page 37 the we care section. Plants also need clean, fresh water like we do. Keep ponds and lakes clean so plants will grow. This information is super important because, as you know now, plants are living things. So you have to keep the place clean because you don't want to live in a dirty place. Animals don't like trash, and of course, plants they don't like dirty water. So that's why it's important to put the trash where the trash goes, to be clean, to be careful with plants, animals, and with people. All right, let's go to page 38 and 39. Okay, here we have a lot of information. Let's start with by the title. Plants grow in different places. Plants grow in a habitat. They get water, sunlight in their habitat. So water and sunlight is super important. Some plants grow on land. They are land plants. Correct. We already know that. Some land plants grow on the ground. Others grow up trees and buildings. So yes, land plants can grow on ground, on buildings, and on different plants. In the next page, we have cacti, which is the plural word for cactus. Cactus is one, cacti is two or more. So cacti live in the desert. They store water in their stems. That means that inside of the cacti, you can find water. Okay? Some plants grow in water. They are water plants. Some water plants float on the water, others grow underwater. So this is super interesting because now we have the idea that there are different types of plants that live in different places, in different habitats. And as you may remember, because you're an animal expert now, you know that some animals live in specific habitats. Remember that I give you the example that a polar bear cannot live in the desert and a gecko cannot live in the Arctic. Well, what do you think if we have a rose and we plant it in the desert? Will it survive? Hmm, difficult. What happens if we grab an underwater plant and put it on a wall? The same thing. It won't survive. So plants have special parts or adapted parts to live in the specific habitat they live. So that's why it's important to understand this, right? So let's continue. From now on, the information that you are going to watch on the screen, it's not in your book, okay? So pay attention, all right? So far we have learned that there are different plants habitats. We have land, water, and underwater, okay? And as I was telling you, these plants have special parts to live in these places. You cannot change them to any place. That can be difficult. All right, here we have this beautiful picture. But before explaining a little bit of this, now I want you to watch the parts of a plant video. Remember to add the subtitles so you can understand in a better way. All right? Huh? Plants are really, really fantastic things. They are amazing. So, as Dr. Bynok said, plants have different body parts and they do different things. On the bottom, we have the roots, which, as you saw in the video, uh, help the plant to get their food from the soil. This food is called nutrients, but we're going to talk about this later. They also help plants to stay in their place because a difference between a plant and a person, sorry, or an animal is that plants don't move from where they live. Okay. Then we also have the stem, which is like a pillar for the plant. It's super important. Another important part is the leaf. Leaf catch the sunlight, so helps the plant to get their own food, to produce their own food. This is incredible. Animals and people cannot produce their own food, but plants can. Also, we have fruit or flowers, which is the result of a plant that grow up. Okay, fruit is something that people or animals can eat, and flowers are super important. Remember that we talked about the bees and how they work, and I told you that bees are amazing animals because they are super important for living beings. Well, this is where bees get pollen from the flower and they transport these. Another important thing about plants is that from the fruit, plants can grow because inside of the fruit there are seeds. So plants grow from plants. That is super interesting. All right, so remember these parts of the plant: root, stem, leaf, fruit, flower. Dr. Binox also mentioned buds. These are a special part that protect the fruit or the flower when they are growing up. Okay, but the main idea, the main parts are roots, leaf, stem, fruit, and flower. Let's continue. As living things, plant need some things to live and to grow. So what does a plant need to grow? Well, the first thing is sunlight. Correct. Sunlight is super important for plants. Then we have soil or ground. Maybe you also heard that that soil or ground is the food of the plant, and that's part correct. What plants get from the ground or the soil are nutrients. Nutrients are special elements that give all the resources, all what plant plants need in combination with these four elements, so the plant stay strong and live a life. Plants also need air. We are going to talk about this on the next class, okay? So don't worry. But yes, keep in mind, plants also need air. And of course, plants need water. Water is very important for living things, people or animals. All right? So this is what we have learned so far. Now I'm going to ask you to watch the Be a Field Scientist video. Remember to add the subtitles. This is important. Okay, that video gives you a lot of information. It explains how a scientist works when they go outside to parks, mountains, forests, jungles, whatever, and how they take notes, they draw what they observe, what they see. This is super important, and now is where I'm going to explain a little bit about the project. So, the title is My Plant Project. The objective is to plant some seeds to grow a plant. You have to observe and take notes of this process for 2 weeks. Okay? There is an extra video that the name is My Plant Project. This video is not in YouTube. It's a video that I'm sending you with the materials for this lesson. So after this lesson, when you are ready to start this project, you have to watch that video. Okay? It's going to help you to understand how to do this project. So in the video, I show you 4 different seeds. I show you wheat, pumpkin, red pepper, and the top of a carrot. These 4 different objects where you can place these seeds to grow your plant. The important thing is not that I'm showing you 4 different things. The important thing is that you only need to choose one type of seed and one object where to grow the plant. Only one. If you want to do more, that's okay, but that's not part of the project that we are going to uh, be working with. You can do it by yourself, just because you like it. That's good. Then there is a worksheet that is special for this project. You have to complete the project worksheet every 3 days. So you start today, for example, you wait 3 days and you print another copy of that worksheet and complete it. This, you're going to do it for 2 weeks. Now, the important thing is that if you have different seeds from the seeds that I show or different objects to grow the plant, it's okay. You can use them. I only give you 4 options of things that maybe you can have at home. Okay, I think everyone eats carrots or pumpkin or red pepper. I don't know if you have wet seeds. Okay, so let me show you something. Okay, this picture of a copybook, it's a journal. A botanist is an expert, it's a scientist that study plants, where they grow, how plants work, how do they look like, the shape, the size, the smell, everything. The idea is that everything they see is something that is important. It's information, and they always have materials where they can take notes and draw and also color. They write their ideas. Um, so this is part of how a scientist work. You are not going to do this in this project on this level. This is these are notes from a professional. So don't worry. I'm not asking for that, okay? It's just an example. The other picture, the small one, as you can see, are the four um, objects and the four seeds that I show you in the video, and I place them on a place where they can get sunlight. Remember, sunlight is important to grow plants. So these um, seeds are going to grow in my bedroom. This is my bedroom window. So my bedroom, it's located to the north. And as you may learn in social studies, there are four cardinal directions, and sun moves from east to west in South America. Okay, at least in Chile, in this side of the world, and the sun goes on the north. So if you have a window or something that faces the north, it's super good. If you put them on a window that it's located to the west, that's also good. But maybe it would be better to use the east. Try to avoid using the south. Okay, we are in autumn, and that means that the sunlight lasts for less time. Okay, now I want to show you the worksheet so you can understand how this works. All right, so just a second. All right, as you can see here, you have the instructions, and I made this um, space where you can draw and color. Also, you have different elements that you have to complete. The first thing is the day. So you have to write, for example, when you start the project, day one. Okay. Also, the weather. How is the weather? Sunny, partly sunny, cloudy, rainy, and no sun, rainy, with sun. You have to decide. Also, this project is about responsibility. You have to water your plant every 3 days. A little water, not a lot, a little water. And here you have to say if that day you water your plant or not. And here you write your ideas. Don't worry if you make mistakes. I don't care if you make mistakes. I only care that you have this experience as a scientist. Okay? So you write everything you see, everything you want to say, color, shape, size, uh, how is the soil, whatever. Okay? For details, of course, you can watch here. You can draw here, sorry. Okay? So, compadre, I hope you like this lesson and I hope you like this project. This project is one of my favorites because it's the beginning of being a scientist. You're going to work as a scientist, so you have to be responsible and careful. All right? Remember, you are taking care of a living thing. That's all for now. See you next lesson. Have a great day. Be safe and watch your hands. Bye bye.